The time has come for me to put together a new list of 100 things that I like, which should be easier than I have made it for myself, because I have decided to create a list of my favourite 100 songs from the 90s that got into the charts that people don't seem to talk about anymore. I have created an extremely nebulous concept that I have to put some house rules around, which I will probably make up as I go along. Let's face it, it's me. I will change my mind like the wind or the weather or the other thing that changes. So what we've got here is we've got 100, and they changed up until like 2 hours ago. We've got 100 songs that got into the UK top 40 in the 90s that I don't think that people really have remembered even exist. And they should remember, because these songs got into the charts, right? And in the 90s, in order for a song to get into the charts, you had to stand up off your arse and you had to go to a shop and you had to buy it with money, and you took it back to your CD player or cassette player or record player, and you put it in that thing and you listened to it, right? Not like today, not like anybody who could score a hit at any time. Don't get me started. So what we have here is, I just figure that people should know these songs. They got in the top 40, enough people would have gone and got them. But you're not going to know them all. You're gonna be surprised, you're gonna be delighted, you're gonna be disappointed and confused. That's life. So let's start with number 40. What's the matter with me? Let's start with number 100 on my list. I've not even started the countdown and I've got the numbering wrong. Let's start with number 100 in my list. Number 100 in my list of songs that got into the UK charts in the 90s that people don't remember. I'll think of a better name than that. Maybe not. I thought pop chart gems, 90s chart gems. Mary Kiani, When I Call Your Name. So Mary provided vocals on a few hits by Time Frequency in 1993, 1994, and in 1995 she released her own stuff, and it went on to 96 as well. When I Call Your Name was the first release from her album Campaign, and it did quite well. It got to number 18 in the charts. I remember distinctly that it was one of the ones that was being banded as Song of the Summer, alongside Clock's Woomph, There It Is. And what was the other? Keep Love Together by Love to Infinity. Do you know what my point of reference is? This Morning with Richard and Judy. So Mary Kiani was one of those, and it got to number 18. 18 is a reasonable, position for a song, so people should remember this song. Bit of a tune. It is number 100 on my countdown. This sets the tone, doesn't it? If that's number 100, what's going to be 99? It's Entice, We Come to Party. The unfortunate nature of the charts in the 90s and probably onwards, but I didn't really pay attention to that, was if you didn't have 12 number ones from an album, you were dropped instantly. Entice had several top 20 hits and they were dropped. They had the backing of Jerry Halliwell. She said so in CD UK. I distinctly remember it. And We Come to Party got to number 12 in the UK charts in 1997. People should remember this. They should remember the names of That's Chantel. Number 98 on my countdown that people should remember, maybe don't. This might turn up on like dance compilations albums from 1994. It is Can't Get a Man, Can't Get a Job by Sister Bliss featuring Colette. This one was a toss-up for me between Oh What a World, which was the follow-up single, and this one, Can't Get a Man, Can't Get a Job. They're both equally fun. They would make great drag race lip-sync songs, don't you think? I think so, yes. This got to number 31 in 1994. Sister Bliss then, of course, went on to create Faithless with Rollo and Maxi Jazz. Hugely successful. Didn't need to use her name anymore. Did a couple of times, but people forget that her solo stuff actually exists. This is a bit of a tune. Handbag House at its best. What a lot of fun that is. 1997 is the year of number 97. Gina G, TMO.
I wanna be where the sun is shining. Don't let me up. I wanna have you there beside me. Don't let me up. Now those
An extremely Mancunian pronunciation of TMO. I'm quite sure. Sorry to any Italians who are watching. Gina G got to number 11 in the UK charts in 1997 with TMO. I've included this one because we haven't forgotten Gina G exists, obviously, because Who Are Just a Little Bit, I Belong to You, Fresh, all remembered, but nobody seems to ever talk about TMO. And TMO is the blueprint for Jerry Halliwell's Mi Chico Latino. Don't dare to prove me wrong, it definitely is. 97 on my countdown. 96 on my countdown is Love Is Everywhere by Cicero. Now, the association with the Pet Shop Boys got Cicero a lot of attention in the smash hits #1 type magazines. He was all over them. I appreciate that greatly as a young gay teenager. Didn't tell anybody, but this song got to number 19 in 1992. Look at that pose. Iconic. I mean, that must have inspired Fever, must have done. But Love Is Everywhere got to number 19. His follow-up singles didn't really do anything, and people don't really talk about Cicero at all. But this was a hit, and it's great, and it's a lot of fun, and it is number 96 in my countdown. 95 in my countdown. You remember this. Coco Jambu by Mr. President. One day they will compile a list of the greatest lyrics ever to have featured in songs, and I'll Have a Chicken with Rice and Lemonade will definitely feature in that. I wonder whether, I mean, I'm not a fluent speaker of any African language at all, but from Mean Girls I know that Jambo is maybe hello, and then in the song she goes Coco Jambo, and then she goes really erratically hello. Is that why? It's maybe why. But this was a song of the summer in 1997, and it got to number 7 in the UK charts, and it probably crops up on one of those one-hit wonders type shows. But I don't think people talk about it enough unless they take the piss, and that's not fair because that is a tune. So 94 in my countdown, and I'm using the whole album to advertise this one. Hinder Hicks, If You Want Me.
If you want me, you gotta tell me so. If you need me, you gotta let me know.
Again, a toss-up between If You Want Me, You Think You Own Me, I Want to Be Your Lady. All top 40 hits in 1998. I think they were all 1998. This got to number 25 in 1998. All the songs off this album got to number 25 in 1998. And it's a great tune. And by the standards at the time, and even by modern standards, it's a bit of a banger. But nobody remembers Hinder Hicks. And she is not happy about this. Look, if I put her down here, and she sat down, and you just said, Hinder who? You don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Very pretty girl. So that she is number 94 in my countdown of 100 songs that got into the charts and people don't really talk about it. 93 in my countdown is Sugar Is Sweeter by CJ Boland. Yorkshire-born, Belgium-living CJ Boland's musical interest really began with Jean-Michel Jarre's Oxygen. It's Oxygen press release, people, which kicks Hinder over. Really sorry. Oh, she's looking at me. People might remember the remix, the Armand Van Helden remix of this, but I remember this was like at the time, this song's going to be massive, this song's going to be massive. Got to number 11 in the charts in 1996, and even now this comes on my headphones and it's just that vocal by, I think it's Jade For You. It's It's quite rousing. You don't want to be roused on the internet, on the Metrolink, or the internet. I'm going to stop talking like that. 92 on my countdown is Hondi, self-titled Hondi brackets no access, and it goes like this. This song got to number 27 in 1996, and I feel like it is a cross between Toy Wilcox and Robert Miles. I think this is a bit of a banger, and I obsessed about this song at the time. I thought it was going to be massive. It wasn't massive. Still, 26 in the charts these days, you got a massive hit on your hands. But nobody ever heard any more about her. Kind of put me off a little bit. If you do know this song, and I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I'm going to. You can hear the saliva in her mouth as she sings. So every time she goes to sing, even before she starts singing, you hear her like that. Listen to it. It really adds a layer of genuinity. Genuinity. What's the word I'm looking for? Authenticity. To the countdown. To the countdown to the song. This is the countdown. 1991. From 1991. I've done that twice now. Karen White, Romantic. Karen White had 2 hit singles in the UK. 1989, Superwoman, probably also forgotten about, and 1991 she had Romantic, and Romantic got to number, I have notes, 23 in the UK charts. And it's a Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis song, so you know it has all the Janet Jackson vibes that people should remember, but nobody remembers Romantic, it seemed. I think it probably was a huge hit in America because songs like that generally were, and I'm not mad at it. But when was the last time you had a discussion about Karen White? You're part of the problem. Anyway, this is going to be an absolutely banging playlist. I know, because I can see it right here. I even ran it past my brother, who doesn't even like pop and dance, and he was like, yeah, I quite like that one, to one of the songs. But I didn't do it for him, I did it for me, and I did it for you, and hopefully you've enjoyed the first 10. And I'm thinking, if people want, I might start a playlist on Spotify and drop 10 of the each 10 into the playlist so you can have a listen to them. And let me know if you want that. Not that. Let me know if you want the playlist. Didn't throw anybody on anybody. Didn't throw anybody on the couch. Didn't throw any of the songs on the couch. CDs, anything. Put them here nicely, apart from Hinder, who were kicked over and still looking at me like that. So Ian, you can't get upset with me. Nothing thrown on the couch. Right. Next up, 93 to 81.